Hi, you're with Chandeep at Goodly, and in this video, I'm going to be speaking about that how can you create a single pivot table from multiple sheets. Now, let's say, for example, you work in a company and you wanted to analyze sales data for that company, and you went to the ERP system and you pulled out all the data for the last 4 years. And this is how you got the data. So you had one sheet for 2005 data. This is all 2005. You had the next sheet for 2006 data. You had the next sheet for 2007 data, and the next sheet for 2008 data. All different number of rows. So here you have about 168 rows of data, but in the other sheet you have a little lesser, maybe let's say 155 rows of data. And the data for each year is not going to be the exact number of rows, but the structure of the data is the same. That means the software is giving you the same type of data. So in the first column you have the date, sales rep, customer, amount, profit, and the region. How would you consolidate data from these four different data sources and then put them together in a single sheet and maybe make a pivot out of it? So there are two ways to do this. The first way is that you can just copy and paste the data and then put it into a new spreadsheet, and then from there you make a pivot table out of it. And the way to do that is simply select all the data, copy it one underneath the other, and then you make a pivot table out of it. The other way, which I'm going to be talking about in this video, is by writing a Microsoft query, right? Let's just take a look at how that is done. So the first thing that I do is I select all of this data right from the first column, the header row till the end, all of this data, and I go to the name box here on the left and I write a name. Let's say this is year 2005. That's what I write. Make sure to press the enter key so that the name is applied. Let's just check if the name is applied. Yes, the name is applied. Go back again here on the second sheet, again select all of this data. I just come back here and I write year 2006, right? Press enter. Pressing enter is really important, so you might just want to do that. Year 2007, and the next one, this is going to be year and 2008. Press enter. Once we have converted all the four data sources into a named range, then why don't you create a table from that data range? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come on any cell of this data range, and I'm going to press the shortcut Control T for Tango. This says create a table. I'm just going to say yes, and my table has headers, so you want to check that out. Okay, this is now converted into a table structure. Again, going back here, Control T for Tango, my table has headers. Okay, Control T for Tango, my table has headers. Control T for Tango, my table has headers. Now all the four years have been also converted into a table structure, plus they have also been named, right? Now let's just go to the report sheet, which is like a blank sheet, which is where we want to make a table, right? So what do? I'm going to go in the data tab. In the data tab, I have from other sources. So I'm going to click here and go right at the bottom, which says from Microsoft query. In the choose data source, I'm going to say that I want a data source from an Excel file. Click on OK. And then I have to kind of follow through the path of this, right? This Excel file, which I'm working on. So I'm just going to do that right here. Create a single pivot table from multiple worksheets. Can you see that? And I'm just going to click on OK. As soon as I do that, in the query wizard, I have all the four named ranges. So what I can do is I can just click on each one of them and drag it into the columns in your query. So just click on this and then click on the arrow to put it right underneath this, and then this as well. So now we have all the four named ranges into our query, and I'm just going to click on next. It says the query wizard cannot continue because it cannot join the tables in your query. You must join the tables manually in Microsoft Query by dragging the fields to join between the tables. I'm okay with that. Okay. All right. Once you add all the years to Microsoft Query, then what you have to do is you have to go in the little SQL button here. Now clear off all the text here. So I'm just going to take off all the text, delete it, and start writing a simple query. So I'm just going to say select star from year 2005. Star means everything, and then I'm just going to say union all. union all, right? Union means combine in simple layman terms, right? Right. So I'm just going to say select star from 2005, union all with select star from 2006, union all with select star from 2007, union all with select star from 2008, right? So all our 4 tables are combined into a single table. Click on OK. SQL query can't be represented graphically. Continue anyway. Yes, continue. And this is going to give you a single table of data, right? Now, what you can do is you can export this data back to Excel, go into the file, say that return data to Microsoft Excel, and this is going to ask you that how do you want the data back into your Excel? So you can choose like a table, or you can choose like a pivot table. I'm just taking a bit of time here. All right, so do you want a table or do you want a pivot table report? Let's say we don't want a table, we just want to have a pivot table report. And I'm just going to click on OK. And you get a pivot table report like this. Now let's say I want to analyze the data. Let's say I would just want the customers in the rows. I want the amount in the values, and I get the values. Now let's just be sure that we should have the exact number of rows that were there in combined of 2008, 7, 6, and 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the sales rep and put it back into the values section here. So we have 591 records. Let's just see that do we have 591 records or not. So I'm going to go back in 2005. We have 142 records here. So I'm just going to write 142. I'm just going to go in 2006. We have 133 records here. So I'm just going to write 133. I'm just going to go here in 2007. How many? 152 records here. So I'm just going to write 152. And then in 2008, we had 164 records. I'm just going to write 164. Take a total of that, and that is 591. So that means our query merging was correct, right? So this is one way where you can kind of combine all the data from 4 different sources. The good part about this is that when you kind of change the data or add more data to it, let's say if I'm adding additional row of data in 2008, so you don't have to do anything. I mean, since you have set up a connection, it is automatically going to get refreshed. So I'm just going to say 31st December 2008, and the sales was done by, let's say, Veronica, right? And then again, White Associates for 12,000 rupees. 3,500 was the profit, and the region was, let's say, East, and that's about it. Let's say, so I've added one more record. As of now, if I just take the customer off and put the sales rep in, and I change that to, let's say, sales rep again, right? So we have 591 records, not 592. All right. So I've just kept the pivot table here. So again, 591 records, not 592. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in the Analyze tab, and I'm going to refresh the pivot table, and you will see that now there are 592 records, and Veronica has moved from 44 records to 45 records, right? So since the connection is established, so you don't really have to do anything. The additional fields that you put it up in your data get automatically added to your pivot table. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to help you out. Thank you so much for staying with me, and do take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.